You're listening to the Youngpreneurs Podcast, the #1 resource online for under 35-year-olds, where we chat twice a week to the most inspiring entrepreneurs in the world. We have it all. If you're looking for inspiration, guidance, or actionable tips to help you transition from that job into a business, or if you're ready to take that business to a whole new level, then this is the place to be. Get ready to live life on your own terms. Youngpreneurs Podcast, episode number 119 with your host, Victor Ahipene. What's up, world? Another day, another podcast, and today I'm going to be talking to you for one of our last episodes of just me talking. So I've been doing these because I thought I had quite a bit of value to add, but what I want to make sure of is that every episode that I'm putting out is of high quality to you. And I found that some of the weeks I was really scratching the surface of what exactly I wanted to talk about. And I don't want it to become a forced activity. So what's going to happen from next week on is we're going to go down to one episode per week every Thursday. It's going to be an interview-based episode, but from time to time when I'm feeling inspired and I've got something that I think you can learn and implement, I'm just going to jump in with a little bonus episode on a Monday. So it might be every week for a month, it might be only once a month, it might be once every couple of months, but it will be awesome, it will be good, it will be juicy, and it will have a lot of content and value. So I obviously value all of your time and I want it to be the highest quality that it possibly can be. So for the time being, this episode will be the last Monday one for the next few weeks at least. So what have I got to talk about today? Before we get talking about anything, I'd love it if you jumped over to our Facebook group, the Young Entrepreneurs Mastermind. It's a free group that you can jump into. We've also got some cool free training resources that you can register for at passiveincomeyoung.com, and go check out the new website. It is about 80% complete on getting a facelift, and I think it's looking pretty cool. I've been learning a bit of website development, some really basic WordPress stuff, because it was a massive weakness of mine. With the help of some people who are experts in that, it's not something I'm going to be pursuing, but it was definitely helpful knowing, so I can make those small changes and get things looking how I like to look at it. So I'd love some feedback on how it's currently looking. Obviously there's some more things that are coming in the pipeline. What else am I working on at the moment? I have got the public speaking blueprint and the Podcast Institute are going to be joining forces for people who are wanting to bust out and become better public speakers, then become authorities in their industry, get booked for speaking gigs, create a book off the back of a podcast, those sorts of things. So that's going to be a training that I'm going to be putting together, as well as I'm also putting together another website at the moment. It's going to be victorahipene.com, and that's going to be my personal persona, where I'm looking to get booked for speaking events and to help inspire the next young generation of entrepreneurs. And that's going to be super exciting as well, because I love public speaking, and obviously just a different medium to blogging and podcasting. It's actually being live and touching and feeling and getting to meet these inspiring next generation, hopefully adding a lot of value. What I'm going to be talking to about today, though, is a book. So I'm putting out a book. This isn't a pitch for it. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be out. It's probably going to be out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And we'll do a full launch for that, and I really hope that you are keen to do it. If you are, you'll get all the info for early access at discounted rates in the Young Entrepreneurs Mastermind in that group on Facebook. But I'm talking about why would you want a book. And my book is, and this is the first time it's getting exposed out to the world, it's called The Authority Handbook, and it's basically how I've gone, and many of you would have followed my journey from unknown to an authority in a space. And I was previously a physiotherapist, working in the 9 to 5, unknown in the entrepreneurial space, and with the use of podcasting, but not just podcasting, also been able to connect with amazing influencers around the world using different specific strategies. I've been able to grow my own personal brand and create businesses around that, and it all started by connecting with influencers. So it's basically a how-to guide on how to connect with influencers online, no matter what stage in your entrepreneurial journey you have. I think it's going to have huge amounts of value. There's no fluff in it. There's no waffling and no giving you the strategies. This is full-on strategy that absolutely anybody can start with, and it gives you the full A to Z. And there's multiple reasons for putting out a book. So this is going to be a mainly Amazon book. I'll probably get a few hard copies for nostalgia, but there's a few reasons. If you've got the right systems and strategies, you can likely get it to a #1 Amazon bestseller, which is great for social proof. So if you're getting introduced on stage and you run a #1 ranked podcast, you're a #1 best-selling author, you're a public speaker, and you're an entrepreneur, like that sounds a lot better than if you don't have those things and you just own a business. Yes, I mean your business might be Apple, and then that's kind of influential, but for the majority of us, if you had, say you're an accountant and there were 4 accountants out there and you'd all gone to the same university, you'd all gone and worked for big 4 companies, and then you'd gone to start your own accounting firms, and someone was looking for a small business accountant, and all 4 of you had the same qualifications, but you'd written a book, and on your website it said #1 best-selling author of Profits for Small Business. Straight away you're going to likely put that person higher on the initial pecking order just from having that book and being a #1 selling best author. And it's not something that everyone can't do. Like there's systems to follow. It's just like anything else that we can all get a book out, but the difference is the majority of people won't do it. So it's something that anyone can do, but majority won't. So it's a great tool to position yourself. So you can use it for positioning, which I'm aiming to do, but I'm going to put out another couple of books, one based off this podcast, another based off the back of what I think the educational system should look like for the future, and then another one about public speaking. So they're all different types of positioning for me, and they're super important. The other thing that you can use is, especially with Kindle books, on Amazon you can have links, so it can be a lead generation tool. So you might send people to something free that's of high value, and they exchange you for their email. They get some more value off you, they've read your book, then they get some video training or some emails from you, and they get to know you even further. And then down the track you might have a product that you want to offer them, and they're more likely to buy off you than if they had never met you. So you're getting this chance to have increased exposure out to a bigger audience. And there's obviously, depending on where you price your book, you can also get money. You can get royalties from your book. So depending on what level you're at, if you've got a publisher or you're just going through Amazon, then you get a percentage of the book. And if you've got a big enough list, or your book's a big enough hit, then that's super awesome. You can just get some extra money off the back of that. So those are all super important reasons that you might want to think about creating a book. It took me probably about 2 weeks, and it's not a huge book. It's going to end up probably about 17.5 to 20,000 words. And there's, as I say, there's lots of hacks. I got help from Pam Brosman, who was on the show at about episode 40 something or 51, or it was a bonus episode in around there, and she's put out about 14 different best-selling books, and obviously that has positioned herself as a go-to person when it comes to creating books. And it was super helpful what I got out of that. And eventually I want to turn the public speaking blueprint and the podcast institute to add another leg of having book creation, so that people can go in the space of 3 months, they can create a podcast, they can create a book, they can improve their public speaking, and they can start getting booked for speaking events, and they can all of a sudden go from completely unknown in their industry to a host of a successful podcast, and a #1 best-selling author and public speaker, and an authority and a go-to figure in their industry. And it's a really quick progression that can create a whirlwind adventure down the track. So hopefully this has opened your eyes on where a lot of people's social proof comes from and how they get it, and then also the opportunities that are there for you. So make sure you check us out Thursday. We've got an awesome episode coming out. As usual, it's a brilliant interview. I've been doing a lot of them recently, so there's some super cool ones coming at you. In the meantime, guys, hopefully see you in the Young Entrepreneurs Facebook group or grab some of our free training at passiveincomeyoung.com. In the meantime, keep living life on your own terms.
Thanks for listening to the Youngpreneurs Podcast. This was proudly brought to you by the Podcast Institute, the #1 training resource to take your business from chasing leads to leads chasing you, and from an absolute amateur to a full-blown authority. If you're looking to take your business to the next level, then a podcast is the obvious answer. You can get national and global exposure in a very fast time, and it's just exactly what I've done with this podcast. So if you want to find out more, get a checklist on how you can get started for under $60, and to find out more through a small training video that I've prepared for you all, then please check out passiveincomeyoung.com/podcast training.